Well, if you love a good mystery like I do, get ready because today we're talking about a novel set right here in Arizona. And this one promises to be a real nail-biter. Best-selling author J.A. Jance is sharing her newest novel in the Ali Reynolds mystery series called Left for Dead. And we want to welcome you to the show. It's nice to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Let's just dive right into this because this is, in fact, the 7th book in your Ali Reynolds mystery series. So what is the background character and what's she up to this time?
Well, a lot of the action, Ali is based in Sedona, but a lot of the action in this book takes place in and around Tucson. It deals with some of the border issues, both drug dealing and people smuggling. And Ali, who is totally unable to mind her own business, is asked to come help a fellow who helped her years earlier when she was at the police academy. And the kind of help Jose Reyes gave her is not the kind of help that you can just say thank you. It's something you have to pay back in kind.
Do you find it critical to kind of making your story believable, to incorporate things that we see that are occurring and discussions that are occurring in present day? You mentioned, the human smuggling. You mentioned, the trafficking across the border.
Well, yes, because I write contemporary mysteries, it's important to deal with contemporary events. When I was writing this book, however, I was in the middle of writing it with several important scenes that took place in University Medical Center in Tucson.
Okay.
Right when January happened last year.
Okay.
And the whole country was at the University Medical Center. That was just too close to the bone. I couldn't...
So there are places that get controversial and then they go into the uncomfortable and you stay away from
So
that.
I said, wait a minute, I'm going to use my literary license. And I created a brand new hospital in Tucson.
Right.
Physicians Medical. Do not Google it because it doesn't exist.
It does not exist.
Tucson. It only exists in my imagination.
When your readers have an opportunity to meet you, as I have this morning, what is the one common thread that you find that they ask you about when it comes to your novels?
Well, the one comment that I hear more than any is that they're impossible to put down. That people stay up very late reading them.
Are they impossible to start writing? And can, is it difficult to walk away when you're writing them? Do you kind of feel that same connection to the story that your readers do?
Particularly when I get on what I call the banana peel of a book.
Okay.
When everything is starting to come together, it's very difficult to walk away from them. And there are some books where the characters simply will not let me sleep. I'm trying to sleep and they're still walking around in my head telling me stuff, and that makes it hard to walk away from them too.
You raise an interesting point. As an author, these dialogues and these characters that talk to you, did you start to kind of experience those sort of dialogues early on in your life, and even as a young girl writing, short stories? Actually,
as a child, I used to put myself to sleep, telling myself stories. So yes, I've had characters walking around in my head from a very early age. My parents told the story that when I was 3, we were going on an outing, and as my father pulled out of the driveway, I let out a blood-curdling scream. And he slammed on the brake, and he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "You forgot my Lammy." Well, of course, my Lammy was make-believe, so he had every... he had every reason to forget
The mom of me
it.
can so relate. I've looked under tables for, well, it wasn't Lammy, but it was somebody else. So, well, it sounds like that. If you
So
just
imaginary characters have been part of my life from the very
beginning. Well, I think that you clearly were caught onto something very early on, and so did your family. So we're so glad that you did follow all of those imaginary characters into something that we can all enjoy.
Thank you.
And we want to let everybody know that they can pick up Left for Dead at your local bookstore. And if you want to know where J.A. will be signing her books, visit SonoraLiving.com for a complete schedule so that you can get out and meet her.